Shalom, Apostle coming back at you with the truth, giving all praise to Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai B'Hashem, Rakakwadash. And I'm going to entitle this video, Ezekiel chapter 32, the breakdown. Someone came on my comment board about a week, maybe a week and a half ago, asking about Ezekiel, the 32nd chapter, and could I go into it. Anyway, I'm just going to go through it, and I'm going to start from the first verse and read the whole chapter and break it down. Anyway, it says, And it came to pass in the 12th year and the 12th month, in the first day of the month, that the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation for Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and say unto him, Thou art like a young lion of the nations. Now, when Ezekiel received this prophecy, he knew about the people of Mizraim, or the so-called Egyptians, which is a Greek term, Greek word. He knew about the Babylonians, and he knew about the neighboring the nations, the landmass around that area. So, when Ezekiel received this prophecy and he wrote it down, he said, well, the Most High is giving me a prophecy of this war, which the war actually took place. I'm going to go into the actual war. So right here it's talking about Pharaoh in Egypt, but the double meaning is talking about America. Now there's going to be a part where it says Babylon is going to attack Pharaoh. So you might say, well, how's that if Babylon and Egypt are the same, are one and the same? Well, you had ancient Egypt and you had ancient Babylon. So like I said, you did have an actual war, but you'll see as I break it down that it's talking about America now. When you read these prophecies, for example, Isaiah the 13th chapter, Isaiah the 14th chapter, Jeremiah, and many other prophecies. When these prophets wrote these prophecies down, they can only go by, the Most High is going to bring down the Babylonian Empire. So he was going into detail as to what's going to happen to the Babylonians in Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51, Jeremiah 49 when it talks about Edom. Those prophets didn't know that it was talking about something that's going to happen now, thousands of years in the future. And the scriptures are written this way. The scriptures are written this way because this book is like a puzzle. Let me try something here. Bear me for a minute. See, the Most High didn't give the book, the scriptures, give it to you in plain English and made you understand everything. These words are written in code for us to understand it, because the Most High opened our minds for us to see it. So we know when it's talking about ancient Babylon or ancient Assyria or ancient Mizraim, and we know when it's talking about Gog and Magog, which is Russia. Let me just do this here. All right, let me try this. Bear me for 1 minute. Okay, I didn't want that one. Anyway, let me go back. I just wanted to check something out. Like I said, the prophecies are dark sentences. You know, something that you read that means something other than what it actually says. So now let's go to the second verse. It says, "Son of man, take up a lamentation for Pharaoh, king of Egypt." And this is talking about a Pharaoh in the ancient Egypt. "And say unto him, thou art like a lion of the nations, and thou art as a whale in the sea. And thou camest forth with thy rivers, and troublest the waters with thy feet, and foldest their rivers." So when ancient Egypt, during the time of the Israelite captivity, that was the height of Egypt's power. So when Egypt went down, Egypt was still a power, but it never became as great as it was during that time period when Israel was under them, under their feet. So they still had battles with other nations, but they wasn't as powerful as they was back then. So let's read on. The third verse. "Thus saith Yahweh the Most High, I will therefore spread out my net over thee with a company of many people, and they shall bring thee up in my net. Then will I leave thee upon the land, I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and will cause all the fowls of the heaven to remain upon thee." When it says fowls of the heaven to remain upon you, meaning they're going to eat that dead flesh. After a war is fought, you have dead bodies out there. You have the losers fleeing and the others taking their substances and leaving the bodies there, because you don't care about the other nation that you're fighting. So what happens is you have these scavengers that come down and they'll eat their flesh. It says, "And I will fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee, and I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains." Mountains represent governments. "And fill the valleys, the lowlands, with thy height. I will also water with thy blood the land wherein thou swimmest, even to the mountains, and the rivers shall be full of thee." Now this right here is talking about, after you have those dead bodies, you have blood all over the place, you have flesh. But this is referring to the coming war of Armageddon that's going to take place in the Middle East, in the Levant. 7th verse. "And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heaven and make the stars thereof dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light." Now there's many scriptures that should come to mind. Give me a second, let me just bring this up. Let me bring up another tab. Bear me for a minute, I misspelled that. Bear me for 1 minute. Okay, Revelation 6 verse 13. Matter of fact, let me start up above that. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me go to Mark 13 verse 25. Actually, I'm gonna go a verse above that. 23. Mark 13 verse 23. But take ye heed, behold, I have foretold you all things. But in those days after that tribulation which we're coming to, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. Now when these missiles come, they're going to darken the sky, so you're not going to be able to see the sun. It's going to get real cold because the sun's going to be blocked out. The moon's going to be blocked out. The stars are going to be blocked out from the missiles. All you're going to see is a mass of darkness mingle with fire. It says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then shall he send his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth. The uttermost part of the earth is over here in America, to the uttermost part of the heaven. So from one side of heaven to the other, that's how the Lord's going to cause the angels to gather us. But it's going to happen simultaneously while these missiles are in the outer atmosphere coming into the inner atmosphere. I got one more precept concerning that. Maybe more. Bear me for a minute. I got one more. Revelation 8 verse 12. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. Now this is twofold. This is talking about the third part represents Esau's kingdom. You have the sons of men, the sons of the wicked, and the sons of the Most High. The sons of the wicked are Esau, the Edomites. So when it says the sun, moon, and the stars shall be darkened and shall not shine, and the day shone not for a third part of it, which is Esau. They're not going to have the knowledge, wisdom, or understanding. The sun, moon, and stars represent knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to get out of the situation. But it also represents those missiles darkening whatever's out there in space, the stars, the sun, and the moon. So we're back at Ezekiel 32 and 7. And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heaven and make the stars thereof dark. Now that didn't happen in the ancient world. the Most High didn't give the technology of the ICBMs to anybody in the ancient world. This is talking about now. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. And we read Revelation the 6th chapter and Revelation the 8th chapter. See, this event that's getting ready to come, when the Most High comes back this time to redeem the elect of Israel and destroy this current system, you can't compare this to any battle in history. It said 8th verse, all the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land, saith the Most High. So what's going to happen to Egypt, which is America? It's going to be darkened. They're going to be darkened in their thought patterns, in their mind, for them to get together and have what Esau has is a think tanks where they get together and they think about scenarios and how to get out of them. There's another term, the term is game theory. Look that up. I'm not going to go all into it, but game theory is what, you know what, matter of fact, let me go into it. Let me read a little bit of it. Game theory. Okay, here we go. Like in the military, you have war games. So you go out in the field and you have all these different strategies, so you can figure out how to get out of those strategies. It says game theory. Game theory is the study of mathematical models of strategic interactions among rational decision makers, people that are smart. They'll take a certain scenario, they'll throw a scenario at you. It could be war, and then they'll say, well, how do you deal with this? Then they can throw a whole nother scenario at you, and how do you deal with that? It said it has applications in all fields of social science as well as in logic, system science, and computer science. Originally, it addressed zero-sum games in which each participant gains or loses are exactly balanced by those of the other participants. I mean, you can read more of that. So, Esau played out this scenario of what if Russia attacks with ICBM missiles. Trump is talking about, he just made it official, the Space Force, and he mentioned in a speech about a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I got to watch it to get it word for word, but he basically said that there's elements up there that we got to deal with. So does he know that those are the angels coming back to deliver the elect of Israel, or does he think that those are aliens from another planet? Because they have their observatories around the world, and they watch the skies and they record everything. So as soon as if there's a UFO sighting, believe me, they recorded it. And what they do is from year to year, they add up, in 1950, this many sightings were recorded. Now they're saying in one article I was reading, in 2019, they said the UFO sightings have tripled since the past year. Now, in New York alone, I did a video on this where it was spoken about. There was 151 reported so-called UFO sightings. If you go to UFO map, world map, the most UFO sightings are in America. I mean, all over America, the Midwest, the Bible Belt, the West Coast, the East Coast, down south, up north. it says here in Ezekiel 32:8, all the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land, which is Babylon the Great, which is called Egypt, saith the Most High. I will also vex the hearts of many people when I shall bring my destruction among the nations, into the countries which thou hast not known. Yeah, I will make many people amazed at thee, and their king shall be horribly afraid for thee, when I shall brandish my sword before them, and they shall tremble at every moment, every man for his own life, and the day of thy fall. Now the Most High said what? He said, when I shall brandish my sword before them, I'm gonna go to Isaiah 34, and if you do a Google search, I mean not a Google search, but a word search in the King James, and you put in sword or my sword, you come up with a whole bunch of scriptures dealing with the sword. But the Most High has his own sword, which are these missiles. Okay, it says here in Isaiah 34 verse 5 and 6, we will bring this out a lot. It says, my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse for judgment. 6th verse, the sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah. That's one of a key city in the land of Edom. And we know that Bozrah that's not a place inhabited by Edomites. Edomites are in America. Bozrah is another way of saying America. And a great slaughter in the land of Edom, Idumea. The land of Idumea is now as anywhere Esau sets up his tent, so to speak. So this Babylon the Great is also known as the land of Idumea, or the land of Edom. Now what I did was I went to the commentary, right? I went to the commentary, and it mentioned there was an actual war between the it says it right here. Let me read it. It says, you are like a monster in the seas. Pharaoh and his kingdom were mighty forces in the world, second only to Babylon. Now at one time, the greatest kingdom or empire was the Egyptian empire, but it had went down after the children of Israel, the sons of Israel, left. It went down. It was still a power. It was still a force, but it didn't have the power that it had when the kingdom was first established. So the person that put this commentary together, he was right on that. It says it still was mighty force in the world, second only to Babylon. So Babylon was the new power, the new the new kid on the block, the bully on the block, so to speak. And Babylon had only recently subdued Egypt at the battle of Kashimesh. In 605 BC, Egypt was still a great force with the ability to influence and trouble other nations. So what I did was I put in battle of Karshemish, and I'll just give you a little, do a little reading on it. It says the Battle of Karshemish was fought about 605 BC, and this was during the time of the Babylonian Empire. Nebuchadnezzar coming into power, and what he did was, the empire before he came into power was the Assyrian Empire. When you read about the lion, matter of fact, let me get it so I don't have to talk about it. Let me get it. Now, High Priest Ariel used to say that the Babylonian, the Nebuchadnezzar, was a Cushite, but he wasn't a Cushite. He was actually an Assyrian. Daniel 7. Okay, it says in the 4th verse, the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. That represents the Assyrian Empire. If you go to the Met in Manhattan and you go to the, I believe it's the Middle Eastern section, you'll see those wall carvings in that section, and you'll see a lion with eagle's wing. That represents, and they'll tell you, they said that's the ancient, that was the rulership of the ancient Assyrians. It said, I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given it. And that's talking about Nebuchadnezzar. So let's go back to Ezekiel 32. I'm sorry, let's go back to the battle. It said the battle of Karshemish, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right, was fought about 605 BC, and that was, we just read in Daniel 7 verse 4, that was around that time period. The armies of Egypt allied with the remnants of the armies of the former Assyrian Empire. The Assyrian Empire was a lion. The symbol was a lion, which is the griffin. The lion with the wings, the eagle's wings. The part where it said it stood up, the wings were plucked off. That means the Assyrian Empire was taken down by the Babylonians, and when it stood upon its feet, that was the king of Babylon, the first king of Babylon, or the new Babylon. Assyrian Empire against the armies of Babylon, allied with, check this out, allied with the Medes and Persians and Scythians. And you can read more on that if you want to go into the history. See, what you got to understand is you had certain empires. They had nations that wasn't as strong in them, but they allied with them. They became partners with them. So during that time period, you had Babylon, and you had the Medes and the Persians, and ultimately it was a Medo-Persian Empire that took down the Babylonian Empire. And by the way, the Persians are the people of Iran today. Those people in Iran, those are the direct descendants of the ancient Persian empires, and they still call themselves Persians. If you tell them, do you know anything about a Persian, they would know, yeah, I'm a Persian. When there was a lot of tension back when I forget the exact date, but there was like tension over there in the Middle East. So the people of Iran started calling themselves Persians, because they were beating up people that was Iranians over here in America. Oh, that was during the 444 day when they took the U.S. Embassy and they held captive, it was ultimately, I believe, it was 51 white men, European men, because they let the women go, because their war was not with women, and they let whatever so-called black people go, because they said we don't have a war with, we don't have conflict with so-called black people. He said our thing is with so-called white people. If you go into the history, a Nightline with this guy, damn, I forget his name, Ted Koppel. That news show was created over that conflict, over that tension over there in Iran, and that was when Carter was in office, and immediately after you had Reagan come up in there. Okay, so like I said, we go into bits and pieces of history, but if you really want to go into it and become an expert on it, just keep reading. It says 10 verse, Ezekiel 32 verse 10, yeah, I will make many people amazed at thee, and their king shall be horribly afraid for thee. Now what should come to mind? Revelation the 18th chapter. And that should be read a lot more. I mean, I try to bring it out this Saturday, but the other precepts be coming out. Alright, bear me for a minute. Let me start from you know what, let me start from the 4th verse. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people are the elect of Israel, because you're going to have a big number of Israelites that's going to die here in Babylon, or the daughter of Babylon, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High had remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works, and the cup which she have filled to her double. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen. Now you can also go to Isaiah the 47th chapter, that come to mind, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. And that's Psalm 49:11. The inward thought is that their house shall continue forever. 8th verse, therefore shall her plagues come in 1 hour, death. And what's going to bring those plagues in 1 hour? And those plagues are mentioned in Psalms 91, also in Zechariah 14:12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord shall smite all of them that fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. That's the plague, those missiles. It says 8th verse, therefore shall her plagues come in 1 hour and 1 day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. The fire is the fire from these ICBM missiles. For strong is Yahweh, the Most High, who judges her. And the kings of the earth, who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So now let's go back to Ezekiel 32 and 10. Yea, I will make many people amazed at thee, and their kings shall be horribly afraid. Revelation 18 verse 9, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication See, these other nations, they went to bed with this system, and that's why they became rich. You know, if you're an ally to America, you can sell your goods here and live deliciously with her. I shall bewail her, and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. It says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. It says, and the merchants, the sellers of the chief seller right now is the Chinese. And what do Americans do? They like to buy. If they don't have no money and they got a credit card, they max out their credit card and they worry about it. There was one person made a statement, I forget who it was. He said they maxed out their credit cards for this Christmas, and they're still paying for how they max out their credit cards last Christmas, and what you know, and it happened to me around about November. They'll send you a notice saying that, oh, we upped up your credit another $5,000 because they want you to spend that money so they can get that money back with interest. It's a standing afar off for the fear of a torment, saying, alas, alas, the great city Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. That's what they're going to weep over, because they're not doing trade with America. So now let's go back to Ezekiel 32 verse 10 again. Yeah, I will make many people amazed at thee, and their king shall be horribly afraid for thee, when I shall brandish my sword before them, and they shall tremble at every moment, every man for his own life, and in the day of thy fall. So right here, the Most High is referring to America as Egypt, but in Revelation it's referring to America as Babylon the Great. For thus saith the Most High, the Most High power, the sword of the king of Babylon shall come upon thee. And that's what happened in that war back in 605. Which in history is known as the Battle of Carchemish. Okay, it says in the 12th verse, by the sword of the mighty will I cause thy multitude to fall, the terrible of the nations, all of them, and they shall spoil the pomp of Egypt. Now we know that this is talking about America. And all the multitude thereof shall be destroyed. So when Ezekiel was writing this, like I said earlier in the video, that he was saying, okay, Babylon is going to destroy the Egyptians along with the allies of Babylon, which is the Medes and the Persians. It goes on to say, but we know it's talking about now, something that's getting ready to happen. I will destroy also all the beasts thereof from beside the great waters. Or it speaks about many waters in Revelation 17. It says, neither shall the foot of man trouble them any more, nor the hoofs of beasts trouble them. Then will I make their waters deep, and cause their rivers to run like oil, saith the Most High. When I shall make the land of Egypt desolate. Now what does the word desolate mean? And Egypt never became desolate. There's people going to Egypt right now. That's a major tourist attraction on that side of the world. I'm sorry, destitute. I said I'm sorry, desolate, right? Desolate. Desolate. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, desolate. Shum Ma. Desolate, desolation, waste, devastation. Meaning totally destroyed, completely destroyed. Verse. And I shall make the land of Egypt desolate, and the country shall be destitute of that whereof it was full. So the Most High is going to empty Babylon. When I shall smite all them that dwell therein, he that is joined with them shall fall be destroyed by the sword. Isaiah 13. Then shall they know that I am Yahweh. See, the whole world's going to know who the supreme power of the heavens is when he takes this place down. It says 16th verse. This is the lamentation wherewith they shall lament her. The daughters of the nations shall lament her. Now you can go right back to Revelation 18. They shall lament for her, even for Egypt, and for all her multitude, saith the Most High Yahweh. So as you read this, we know that this is not talking about ancient Egypt. It came to pass also in the 12th year, in the 15th day of the month, that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, well for the multitude of Egypt, and cast them down, even her and the daughters of the famous nations, unto the nether. Like a famous nation would be China, another famous nation would be Russia, another famous nation would be France, Germany. These are nations that people know about. You mentioned those particular nations, they know about those nations. And America, it says that, unto the nether part of the earth, with them that go down into the pit. Whom doeth thou pass in beauty? Go down and be thou laid with the uncircumcised. Now uncircumcised mean heathen, one of another nation. 20th verse. They shall fall in the midst of them that are slain by the sword. These missiles she is delivered to the sword. Draw her and all her multitudes. Now Babylon's military, everyone that's a part of that military, they're going to all die. You're not going to have any military in America, because they're going to all be over there in the Middle East and the Levant, fighting that war, the war of Armageddon. 21st verse. The strong among the mighty shall speak to him out of the midst of hell. Hell meaning the grave, the pit, dead bodies. You put dead bodies in hell. With them that help him, they are going down. They lie uncircumcised, slain by the sword. These missiles. Assure is there and all her company. His graves are about him, all of them slain fallen by the sword. Now that's the 22nd verse, right? Let me go from there to, I believe that's Ezekiel 39, if I'm not mistaken. I'm almost positive it is. Ezekiel 39. I'll start from the first and then I'll jump around. It says, Ezekiel 39, therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, say, thus saith the most high power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and will leave but a sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts. When you go to the uttermost north, that's Russia. So it's saying that they will come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. And I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and will cause thy arrows and missiles to fall out of thy right hand. So the Most High is going to make the missiles that are controlled by Russia to fall on who the Most High wants it to fall on. Thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, thou and all thy bands, and the people that is with thee I will give thee unto the ravenous birds. Those are your scavenger birds, after you have dead bodies strewn all over the place, of every sort, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured. Thou shalt fall upon the open field, for I have spoken it, saith the Most High Yahweh. And I will send a fire on Magog. So Magog's going to be hit too. There's certain parts of Europe and certain places around the world that's going to get hit with these missiles. And among them that dwell carelessly in the isles, Puerto Rico dwell carelessly. They were going to the Roman Catholic Church, and they've been getting hit with earthquakes. They've gotten hit with earthquakes inside of a week, over 1,000 earthquakes, and they're fearing for the big one. And they shall know that I am Yahweh. So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel. Now that didn't happen during the time of Ezekiel, because Israel, you had a lot of Israelites scattered, and then you had a lot of Israelites that rebelled against the Most High, and they were secretly worshiping other gods. And I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore. And that's when the kingdom comes. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, it is come, and it is done. That's after the missiles drop, saith the Most High Yahweh. This is the day whereof I have spoken. So we're living in that time. Let me jump down. I jump down to the 12th verse. It says, in 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land. Yeah, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown, the day that I shall be glorified, saith Yahweh. And they shall sever out men of continue, because we're not going to be digging up we're not going to be burying bodies. We're going to have our slaves do that. And they shall sever out men of continual employment. Let me look up that word, employment. Okay, it doesn't tell you about employment. It says continue. Let me try this. It doesn't say employment, but employment means somebody that serves you. But it doesn't give you that in the Hebrew. It just says continual. Ezekiel 39 verse 14, and they shall sever out men of continual employment passing through the land to bury the passengers. Now America, nothing's going to be buried in America, because America is going to become a desert. There's not going to be anything to pick up to say, well, this was a cell phone, or this was the bumper of a Buick. Everything's going to be destroyed. And when the smoke clears, it's going to become the biggest desert on the planet, as I have said in past videos. Is it passing through the land? Because the land of Israel has to be reestablished, because that's what we're going back to. To bury with the strangers those that remain upon the face of the earth, to cleanse it. And there's going to be other places where you're going to have dead bodies. So the earth is going to have to be cleansed of these dead bodies. After the end of 7 months shall they search, and the passengers that pass through the land, when any seeth a man's bones, then shall he set up a sign by it, like a flag, till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamongog. So now let's go back to Ezekiel 32 verse 22. Ashur is there, and all her company, his graves are about him, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, the missiles, whose graves are set in the sides of the pit, and her companies is around about her grave, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, which caused terror in the land of the living. There is Elam, which are the Persians today, and the East Indians, and all her multitudes round about her grave, all of them slain. So you're going to have other nations that are slain too, fallen by the sword, which are going down uncircumcised, which is talking about the other nations. That's why it's important for you to be circumcised if you're an Israelite. Into the nether parts of the earth, which caused their terror in the land of the living. Yet have they borne their shame with them that go down to the pit. So when the Most High magnify us, these other nations are going to have their head down, because they're going to see the power. They're going to recognize who we are. It said they have set her a bed in the midst of the slain with all her multitude. Her graves are round about him, all of them uncircumcised heathens of the other nations, slain by the sword, slain by the missiles, though their terror was caused in the land of the living. Yet have they borne their shame with them that go down to the pit. He is put in the midst of them that be slain. There is Meshach and Tubal. Now when you go to Ezekiel 38 chapter, it speaks about Gog and Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. So when you look at an ancient map, that's those areas southwest of or west of Russia. You got Turkey, you got Germany, you got all those other areas, and then you go further west, you got France, then you got England, and those European nations. It said there is Meshach, Tubal, and her multitude. Her graves are round about him, all of them uncircumcised, other nations slain by the sword, the missiles, though they caused their terror in the land of the living. And they shall not lie with the mighty that are fallen of the uncircumcised, which are going down to hell or the pit or the grave. Christians teach that hell is a place that you burn, it's talking about dead bodies being buried with their weapons of war. And there's not going to be any need for these weapons anymore, because this is going to be this is going to be truly the war to end all wars. And we're going to control the people with the sword, with the scriptures, which is the law, and with spiritual power. And they have laid their swords under their heads, but their iniquities shall be upon their bones. Though they were the terror of the mighty in the land of the living, at one time it's going to be spoke about how mighty Esau was. Yeah, thou shalt be broken in the midst of the uncircumcised, and shalt lie with them that are slain with the sword. And that sword is talking about the missiles. Now check that out, 29th verse. There is Edom, her kings and her princes. Because who's the last power? Who's the one that's sitting on the power seat right now? Esau, the Edomites. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Edom wasn't destroyed. Edom is still here. Edom is the highest nation of all nations at this point. Ezekiel 32 verse 29. There is Edom, her kings, which are leaders, and all her princes, all her lords, which with their might are laid by them that was slain by the sword. So they're going to die right along with those other nations. They shall die with the uncircumcised other nations, and with them that go down to the pit. 30th verse. There be the princes of the north, all of them, and all the Zidonians. Let me click on Zidonians. Which goes into Sidon when you read about Tyre and Sidon, which is of the land of Canaan. It said, there be the princes of the north, all of them, and all the Zidonians, which are gone down with the slain, with their terror. They are ashamed of their might, and they lie uncircumcised with them that be slain by the sword, the missiles, and bear their shame with them that go down to the pit. Pharaoh shall see them. Now Pharaoh represents the king of Babylon, which, you know, I'm thinking that Trump will be president again, and thereby he's the one that's going to kick off Armageddon. He's going to do something major where you're going to have all these troops converging in the Middle East, you know, pursuant to Revelation 20 verse 7 and Revelation 16, I believe 16 verse 16. It said Pharaoh, the modern Pharaoh, shall see them and shall be comforted over all his multitude, because he's going to believe he has the upper hand. Even Pharaoh and all his army slain by the sword, saith the Lord. So ultimately they're going to be slain. 32nd verse and last verse. For I have caused my terror in the land of the living, and he shall be laid in the midst of the uncircumcised with them that are slain with the sword, even Pharaoh the king of Babylon, and all his multitude, his armies, saith Yahweh. Now what did this say? I'm going to close with this. Joel 2. It says, let me read that again. It says, and he shall be laid in the midst of the uncircumcised with them that are slain with the sword, even Pharaoh and all his multitude, his army, his military force. Let me go to Joel. Now it says in Psalms 149 about the nobles, that we're going to put them in fetters of iron. I don't know if Trump is that noble. I mean, according to this, he should die on this side. But if he doesn't, he's going into captivity anyway. So I'm going to leave you with this. Joel 2. And 20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army. And the northern army represents the U.S. because this is considered North America. Now you have a northern army in the uttermost north. That's Gog and Magog. That's Russia. And will drive him into a land barren and desolate. And that's in the smack dab in between the Red Sea and the Euphrates, with his face toward the East Sea, which is the Red Sea. I mean, the East Sea is the Euphrates, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea, which is the Red Sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he hath done great things. '21st verse, it said, fear not, O land, be glad and rejoice, for the Lord will do great things. And that's talking about us. Be not afraid, ye beasts of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness do spring. For the tree beareth her fruit, the fig tree and the vine do yield her strength. And that's going to happen in the kingdom of heaven. You're going to have grapes as big as basketballs. It says 23rd verse, be glad then, ye children of Zion. Zion meaning a monument, my remembered children, and rejoice in Yahweh the Most High, your power. For he hath given you the former rain moderately, and he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain and the latter rain in the first month. And that goes into the Feast of Weeks. And that proves right there that the kingdom of heaven is going to be played out on the planet Earth. You have a spiritual, invisible kingdom of heaven, which is in the heavens, and then you have a physical kingdom of heaven, which, it says, and the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom, meaning the kingdom is Esau, so we're going to take it by way of the Most High, destroying this place, and we're going to be the new landlords of the earth under Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom, and it's on to the next one. I know that was long, but